Welcome back to Disctv, the show that brings you the world of disc golf. Now, we all have our list of personal favorites in the sports superhero category. Yours might include Barry Sanders or Michael Jordan or Muhammad Ali. If you're a disc golfer, your list most definitely includes 10-time world champion Ken Climo. Ken is with us today. Ken, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
10 world championships. I mean, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's Tiger Woods stuff. It's beyond Tiger Woods stuff. What's the deal with that? What is your secret? Today alone, you shot a new course record. I don't know how many times I've said, and Ken Climo shoots a new course record. What's your secret?
A lot of practice in the early days. Just repetition, lots of practice. And once you reach, the top level of the game and you've got the physical attributes, it becomes a little more mental. And I think it's the mental training. As a youngster, my dad had me playing ball golf and just knowing the game of golf in general and knowing when to be close and, not running it by too far, stuff like that. I'm a pretty conservative player. I think that helps me out on the course with my scores. I don't have to birdie every hole, just a good bit of them.
Can you give us a little bit of the history behind your involvement in the sport? You started what year?
I started in May of 1987 at Cliff Stevens Park, Clearwater, Florida.
And by 1990, you had your first world championship.
In October of 1990. I played a lot those first couple of years, just pretty much by myself. A lot of times I'd play 8 rounds in a day, just learning how to play the game.
So a lot of our viewers are new players. In those early years, beyond a lot of practice, what was it that really led you, I believe, to that first world championship?
Competition. I really love competition. I thrive on it. I like to see how I can do against other people and stuff. And another thing I think I attribute to my quick upcoming is I batted baseball left-handed, which is the same as a right-handed disc throw. Most right-handers bat right-handed and they have no idea how to get power with their right hand going this way, so it takes a little longer for people to get into the game and get them to throw flat and straight. And I think I already had that power by batting left-handed. And I'd played baseball for 13 years. I had that groove down. And the same power motion off the back leg, So I think that had a lot to do with me just picking the game up quick.
Did you have any previous experience in other Frisbee sports?
I could throw a Frisbee. I used to play catch with my friends, Whammo, big beach Frisbee, and I could throw one of those rather well. I bought an AVR sport disc, the 130-gram kind, the light ones. They sold in Oshman Sporting Goods, I believe, back in 1986, and I played around with that before I ever heard of disc golf, before I ever saw a basket or anything. And I had thrown one of those quite a few times. I threw it in the water and it sank. I was like, ah. But I had a little introduction to disc before I ever played. That was key too.
So let's go over some of the championship years. You won the World Championship 9 consecutive times. How did you stay on top through all those years? Because clearly the competition was getting stiffer every year.
Well, that's a question really nobody can answer, not even myself. I mean, you know how golf tournaments are, finicky, one stroke here, one stroke there, good luck, bad luck. I don't know who or what had it in the cards for me to win 9 times in a row. I just came out that way. I think I won one of them by a stroke, another one by a couple strokes, another one by 4, another one by 3. So you're talking 180 holes of golf and you win by a couple strokes. That's pretty even play between 2 people. I don't know, it's just fortune smiled on me, I guess.
You managed to stay on top through those years. Then in 1999, Ron Russell squeaked past you in Rochester. What happened that year?
He played really solid. He hit a lot of long putts in the last few rounds when we were playing together, and I think that was the difference. We had a little argument going on in the middle rounds. I let that go. I could have been a little more angry at what happened. I forgave him, and we let our disc do the talking, and he came out on top. That's about all it comes down to.
You played very solidly the next year in Ann Arbor, won Worlds 2000. Last year, Cam Todd beat you in Minnesota. Was there a big difference there in your game, or was it again Cam just came on a little bit stronger?
No, my game was pretty good throughout the week. I just had a few bad breaks here and there and wasn't quite myself. I think I had 12 putts spit out in the preliminary rounds before the semifinals even. So that hurt a lot. But Cam played really solid the last day. I don't think anybody could have caught him.
A lot of our viewers are new players. You've coached probably hundreds of new players. You've seen the most common mistakes. What are those, and what's the fastest way that those players can fix those mistakes?
Most common mistake is most people throw the disc a little too high because they're used to a Frisbee, which you need to throw high to get to float and fly before it drops. And these discs basically go straight through the air, penetrate well. So you need, and they go left. Most of them will go left for a right-handed backhand thrower. So what you really need to do is get them low and get some body force on them, not just arm. It's more of a body motion. You get your whole weight through, and that's what keeps the disc flat. And then wrist angle has a lot to do with it too on your follow through. So basically trying to keep the disc flat is a good beginning tip, just flat and straight. If you can throw flat and straight, then you can make little variations off of that.
Are there one or two discs that you would recommend to those players to start with?
I'd say a Stingray is a good driver disc to begin with. It's a very understable disc, which beginning players need. And an AVR and a rock. I'd go with those three and learn those well before I moved on to anything else.
You're very well known for killer mental game. Your mental game is very strong. It's hard to shake you out on the course. What sort of, once those players can master the basic techniques, what advice would you have for them to start getting a handle on their mental game?
Well, a big part of my mental game is not really thinking about the competition. I think that draws people into a bad area in your mind. If you think about the conditions, what's the wind doing, how's the ground, is it skippy, is it not skippy? If you keep yourself in the game that way mentally, I think it'll help out everybody. Just think about the conditions and what you have to do on this hole, and not so much about what the competition's doing.
Now I'm going to ask you one final question here, and I want our viewers to understand that your answer might not be the best disc for them, as they may be beginners, but what is your favorite disc right now to drive with?
To drive long distances, I like the T-Bird, KC T-Bird, or the CETL. To drive medium distances, the Rock is the best disc of all time. And I'll go on camera saying that.
He's Ken Climo. He has won the World Championships 10 times, and we have little doubt that we'll be seeing him in the winner's circle again. Ken, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Brian.